Alright, let's start Unit 3, but before I start, let's talk about contacting me. Okay, again, I prefer you to text me. Second thing is, if it's too much information for a text, by all means send me an email through Blackboard. Last measure of contacting me would be my uhcl.edu address, but make sure that's the last way that you contact me. That is my business email, so I get Zoom notifications, meeting requirements, agendas for meetings, courses that I have to finish, textbook publishers, emails. I get all of that stuff. And if you have an email that has gone in there, chances are that I will skim over it, or I won't even notice it, and it won't get read. If that's the case, again, send me a text and let me know that you sent me an email. But I would prefer everything to be emailed through Blackboard, so that way I know exactly where it is, what class you are in, and what it has to do with, because I can look at the calendar at the same time I'm reading your email to see what's going on in there. So the next issue I have to bring up is late work policy. Again, I don't accept late work, and I have received several texts in the past couple weeks. You have missed work. Now, late papers automatically get a 0. The only exception is if you contact me before the deadline and explain the situation. An extension will be granted on a case-by-case basis. Doesn't mean that I will give you the extension, even if you tell me what's going on. And you're only allowed one per semester. On the online class expectations page, again, I have, if you are granted the extension, you may only receive one, and you will have a late penalty assessed. 1 day late's 10%, 2 days late's 20%. At the end of day 2, the assignment closes, and if you fail to keep up your end of the bargain, it does not mean you get another chance for the extensions, or I give you an extra day. So if the assignment was due Friday at 11:59, you have to contact me before then. I recommend contacting me about 11:45 if you know you're not going to get the work done. Send me a text. That's the quickest way. It's logged in with the time that you sent it, and I have it. I might not respond back, but I have it. The next day, we will figure out what needs to take place. If I grant you the extension, then you have Saturday and Sunday to get it done. If you don't get it done by Sunday, then you lose your chance, and that is your extension. So you won't get another chance for another extension. I prefer and highly advise you to take extensions on major assignments only. If I'm worried about doing a 10% deduction or a 20% deduction on a 30-point assignment, is it worth the trouble and effort on either part? And what happens if you decide to take that as your extension, and then in the next 8 weeks, you have an issue getting the proposal done, and you really need that extension for that proposal because that's a major assignment, or even the presentation part of it. So again, think ahead, think about what you need to do, and then work with it. I also recommend, and if you haven't done it, you need to do this, get in there to the point calculation spreadsheet, print that out, go to that calendar, and start marking in all these due dates so that you know when they come up. Now, if you consistently do not get on the calendar and take a look at the calendar all the time, then you need to do something else to keep up with all of these due dates and what goes on and how many points they are, so that you have an idea what's a major assignment and what isn't a major assignment. So make sure if you're going to do an extension, you have a good reason to do it. You contact me before the due date, and it's probably for a major assignment, and know that you have 2 days after that due date to get it done. So moving into Unit 3. Okay, the guest lecture. Usually when we have class and we have an attendance in class, Chuck Crocker comes out. He's the director of crew services, and he talks about resumes and interviews and what they do at career services, and hands out a packet. The packet has been scanned and I attached it. It's a PDF file. Make sure you go through that. I recommend, when I am in class and I'm talking to everybody about it, that you have a folder on your computer that you save all this information to. That's different resumes that you're going to use for jobs, your copy of job listings, so you know what resume goes with that job listing, these resume writing tips and more packet, the 65 questions to ask interviewers, the thank you email, different things that you would need to be successful when you get ready to graduate or even after graduation. So this unit, again, is really important for your future. You have to have a resume ready to go. From your drafts, I highly recommend that you make them look more professional. And again, that is working with career services back and forth. The key is to land you a job in an interview. And right now with the pandemic, employment is hard to get. And that's reality. That's the truth of the matter, is that you're in there and there's a lot of competition for the same jobs. Why do you stand out? And that's what Chuck and his group help you get to, is making your resume stand out. So at least you get a phone call. Now, you might not continue with the interview, but at least you get the phone calls. That's the first step. All right. Okay, so there's that. These 65 questions to ask interviewers. Keep that handy. Make sure that you pick 4 to 5 questions out of the 65. Yes, that's a lot of them. But you need 4 or 5 questions at the end of your interview. They always ask, so do you have any questions for us? Yes, you have questions. You always need to have questions. If you say, no, I'm good, then that tells them that you're really not interested in the job, or you're not even interested in the company. Always ask questions. One of the best questions that I like to ask is, why do you like working here? It makes them really think about why they like working there, and they kind of have to answer it. Now, some decide not to, but if you get the case where you don't like their answers to that question, do you really want to go for a job at that place? So think about that. You should send a thank you email, which is the next document, within 24 to 48 hours after your interview. Now, if you send it a day or two past that, that's fine, but at least make sure that you get a thank you interview. If the company that you're applying for has multiple interviews, it is really important that you follow that 24-hour rule, because by then they're making their decisions on who to invite back for that second interview. So if you wait long enough to send it, you might not be in with that second interview crowd. Thank you letter usually has a really big impact on people when they get them. And yes, you can absolutely email them at this point, because everything is digital. And then the next link is about Elon Musk. If you don't know who he is, by all means, look him up. Now, I chuckled when I read this article and his interview questions and how to tell when his applicant is lying, and he doesn't address the, well, what if you're really nervous? If I had a chance to interview with Elon Musk, I would probably be nervous. Does that have something to do with lying and how he works with it? Again, you don't have to read it, but it is there to read. And it's good to know what employers are thinking as you walk in the door to do an interview. So, unit assignments. All right, hopefully you have done everything about teamwork. You know, at this point, you all have worked in a team for a while. Some of you have had really bad experiences in the past. Some of you are struggling now that stuff is online. the reason why teamwork is so important is because there's not many chances that I have been at a job where I haven't been in a team and we have to get stuff together. I have seen teams fail. I have been part of teams that have failed. I've sat back and watched them fail so that I could document why they failed and what exactly went wrong and where. Some of the issues that need to come up that you need to think about is how honest are your team members with one another? Are you really honest about what's going on? Instead of asking them, why haven't you completed this work? That makes them defensive and they start to shut down. Instead, say, hey, I noticed you've missed the deadline. Is there anything we can do to help? And this is your own personal deadlines that you set within your group before my deadline comes up. And then if you think about a situation, there are 5 to 6 of you in a group. How hard would it be for everybody to pitch in and help out that one person that's struggling? How much time would you have to actually put in to do that? So think about that, because in the workforce, that's what you're required to do. Here, if they don't do their assignment, they get a 0 on their part because it's not turned in, and you don't have to do their work for them. But when you get out in the workforce, that's not always the case. Everybody has to chip in. So how do you get the stuff done with little to no confrontation, and you get it completed and finished in a timely form? So think about that as you're dealing with your teamwork issues. All right, resume final copy. All right, you're responsible for editing your resume. Most of them needed editing. Most of them need to come up to a professional level. You need to research a job that you'll be interested in applying for. Not in administration in a hospital, but somewhere that your degree would get you in the door. It has to be a real job, because this has to make sense and it has to work, and it's something that you need to rely on. So when you get ready to graduate, you have something in a packet ready to go. So if you're an IT person, you can't be an IT manager. You have to apply for a job you fit. Revise the resume according to their directions. Then, again, if you have an email career services you're running behind, they're going to mark it up. I need the job listing. You can put this all in a document that shows the URL. I do not need the email, the original email that goes to career services. I need the marked up resume. So you can do a screenshot of the email that you received back from them, and the marked up resume, and the job listing, and the final draft copy. So I need 3 to 4 documents on this one assignment. And then negotiation letters. This is really important for you to do. You might not have to negotiate your resume for 15 or 20 years, but you need to have something in writing so that you know what you need to say in case this comes up. Your salary, research the range. There's always a range, 65 to 80. You're going to be brand new on the job. You're going to be down towards the 65 mark. You are not going to be at the $80,000 mark. What did they offer you? A lot of companies right now are making all kinds of cutbacks, even financially. They might offer you $53,000. What can you do to show them that you're worth 65? That's what needs to be in that letter. Make sure it's block format, and then you can send this letter even to career services and have them look at it and say, is this good? Does this show enough stuff as to why I am qualified to do this job? And again, this is all stuff that you should have in a folder that you need to keep. After Unit 3 is over with, because it's very quick, we're going to jump into Unit 4, which we're going to start with a proposal. And I will probably hopefully do another one of these videos so that you can watch it and listen.